ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं तथा ज्ञाता त्रितयं नास्ति वास्तवम् अज्ञानाद् भाति यत्रेदम् सोऽहमस्मि निरञ्जनः ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं तथा ज्ञाता. Meaning, in any relationship, there are these three things. This side of the relation, that side of the relation, there are two things related to each other, and there is a relation, three things. In any relationship can be called Triputi or Tritayam. Any relationship is what is called a division. Relationship is always between the conscious being and an inert thing. And if you have a relationship with another conscious being, not that conscious being is related to conscious being. Me as a jiva, I look at myself as a form. I look at another person also as a form. Form and form get related. Our conscious being and the form get related. Me as a seer, I see my form and his form. And he as a conscious being sees his form and my form. But there are no two seers. One seer, but the idea of there being many seers is adhyasa. The idea of the perception of there being many seers is adhyasa, is an error. So any relationship can be termed like this: Jnanam, Jneyam, Tatha, Jnata. The knower, the known, and the knowing. The knower and the known and the knowledge. Jnanam is knowledge, Jneyam is the object of knowledge, Tatha Jnata and the one who has knowledge. So every relationship can be termed as Tritayam, can be termed as Triputi, can be termed as Dvaitam. Dvaitam means a relationship. Dvaitam is not a fact. Dvaitam is a perception of relation. Relationship by nature has a beginning and an end. Relationship by nature is mithya. Why? Because it is a relationship. It's almost like saying the false is false. Why? Because it is false. Hey Rama, it's almost like saying that. Relationship is false because it is a relationship. Relationship is false because it is a relationship. Because a relationship has a beginning and an end. And it resolves into oneness. Relationship resolves unto oneness. And oneness doesn't resolve because oneness is not a thought. A great thing, ji. Oneness is not a thought. To be is not a thought. That is existent. That is Sat. Therefore, Jnanam Jneyam Tatha Jnata Tritayam Nasti Vastavam. Ashtavakraji says, in fact, this sense of division, this felt division is not there. Means it is not a fact. Na vastavam. He is not denying that we are feeling it, but he is only denying its factuality. Denying perception is different from denying factuality. Vedanta only denies the factuality of the division. It doesn't deny that man doesn't perceive division. Man perceives division, but the perceived division has no factuality, it has no reality. It's not undisprovable. What is not disprovable? What is not disprovable and what doesn't require to be proved? That self-evident fact is a fact. That's called the absolute fact. Swamiji, if you say Atma is absolute fact, we can call them these relative facts. No, they look like relative facts, they look like facts, but from the absolute fact point of view, these relative facts looking objects lose their validity, lose their pramanyam. Lose their reality. Like we can't say water is a bigger reality and wave is a smaller reality. This is a problem. In reality we can't mean gradation. We can't mean any gradation in reality. Water is reality in that context. Wave is an error, is a notion, is an appearance, not a smaller reality. Wave is a bigger reality, greater reality, and water is a greater reality, and wave is a smaller reality, we can't say. Water is reality, wave is falsity. Wave is false, it's a notion. We are not denying your perception of the wave, we are only denying the factuality of the wave. You have to follow this sentence. Vedanta doesn't deny our perception of the division. Yes, you are perceiving division, so what? But all that I am saying is, Vedanta says, all that I am saying is that perceived division is not true. Bas itna hi hai. I am not saying you are not seeing division. Aapka marzi hai, dekh lo. But your perceived division anywhere felt. Division felt anywhere is a notion. It's disprovable. Disprovable. And oneness need not be proved, self-evident, and cannot be disproved because it's not a thought, it's our being. Like silence need not be proved, ji. How do you prove silence? Supposing you want to prove through logic. Now here a very deep unfoldment I am going to make. Listen to it very carefully. The sound has a beginning. It begins in silence and it ends in silence. Therefore, the logic says there is silence. You can't say that. This logic only makes you understand the falsity of the sound bus. It has a beginning, it has an end. Therefore, it is false and it cannot exist independent of the silence. Therefore, sound is false. Logic at best can make you understand the falsity of the sound. Temporariness of the sound, or even temporariness, is obvious. What is to be understood is its falsity. You don't have to understand the temporariness of pleasures. It's all what? Obvious, ji. Sabko malum hai. When you go to Switzerland, you know you have to come back. That is why you always buy a return ticket. You see? What is great about ji? Temporariness is not something to be greatly thought and understood. We know the temporariness. What we need to know is, what is temporary is false too. Falsity is a different idea from temporariness. Falsity means it has no existence independent of your being. Your thoughts have no existence independent of your being. Your pleasures have no existence independent of your being. That's falsity. Like the dream has no existence independent of the dreamer. The wave has no existence independent of water. That makes it false. It has no existence of its own. If it doesn't have the existence of its own, then it is asat, false. Therefore, temporariness is known. Falsity is to be known, has to be known. Therefore, Shastra, listen again, logic at best helps me to understand the falsity of the temporary, the falsity of the sound. Logic doesn't help me to prove silence, because silence is self-evident. Silence is not a thought, silence is one's being. To be silent is called silence. How do you think of silence, ji? You can't think of silence, you can only be silence. Be silent. To begin with, I say, to be silent is silence, and in time, when you continue to dwell on the silent nature of your being, you come to understand you are not silent, you are silence. Silence means ease. It is peace. And therefore, oneness need not be proved, can't be disproved. Keep in mind. Need not be proved, cannot be disproved. Vedanta doesn't deny our perception of Dvaitam, it only says it has no factuality. Ajnanad bhati. This division, even though it's not a fact, yet it looks like a fact. And where it looks like a fact is the truth. Dvaitam is not seen inside space, please. Space itself is a part of Dvaitam. Even the space is a part of creation, and the whole creation is Dvaitam. It's a relationship. Me and this, that's called a relationship. Me and this. Me and space. Me and air. Me and fire. Me and water. Me and earth. Every relationship is between me and something else. A relationship is not between object and object. That's not a relationship. Relationship is, Dvaitam is between the subject and the object. Subject-object relationship alone is Dvaitam. This Dvaitam appears in Advaitam, ji. Dvaitam doesn't appear in Dvaitam. Dvaitam appears in Advaitam. If Dvaitam appears in Advaitam, that means my sense of division is an appearance in Advaitam, my being. Our thoughts appear in our being, ji. Our perceptions appear in our being. Our notions appear in our being. Our misconceptions appear in our being. Therefore, for the entire realm of perception, the platform is our being. Therefore, we are seeing a universe in our being. Like a dream is a perception in our being. You close your eyes and see in yourself a dream. It is seen within oneself with a sense of division. It's called a notion, G. It is within water. The wave is within water. It's non-separate from water, and yet we say the water and wave as though they are two things. Unwittingly we make mistakes in our perception. Unwittingly we live in a life of falsity. Unwittingly, wave and water. Even the wave is within the realm of waterness. Wave is within the realm of waterness. Yet we make a conjunction, wave and water. Water and wave. Once we say water, it is comprehensive of the wave as itself. Similarly, me and the universe is like saying, me and the universe. Me and the object is like saying the water and the wave. Swamiji, what is wrong in that saying? For you to understand how wrong it is. How many lives Bhagavan knows? If a person asks like this, what is wrong in it? That means he needs to think. Once we say water, it includes wave. You don't have to say India and UP. India includes UP also. In that manner, Dvaitam, the sense of division, appears within oneness, meaning my thinking appears in my being. I mean, to put it in the right perspective. If you say Dvaitam is in a oneness, you will start imagining the oneness. You start imagining this is Dvaitam and it is oneness. What is oneness? You start imagining. You start speculating. And the speculated oneness is also a part of Dvaitam. You can't think of oneness, you can be oneness. Just as you can't think of silence, you can be silent. You can be silent. What you are cannot be thought. What you can think, that is unlike you. I can think a form, but that's not my nature. What I can think is unlike me. I am unlike what I can think. I am unlike, my being is unlike what I can think. My being is unlike what I can hear. And what I am, I can only be it. What I am, I can only be it. I can only recognize that it is me, I am. Like silence you can be, tranquility you can be. You cannot think of tranquility. Tranquility is not an object of thought. Peace is not an object of thought. Silence is not an object of thought. Therefore, ajnanat bhati yatra. Yatra means where. Where the Dvaitam appears due to ignorance. अज्ञान से जहां द्वैत दिखता है, अज्ञान से द्वैत जहां दिखती है या दिखता है जी? दिखता है, चलो दिखता है। अज्ञान से जहां द्वैत दिखता है, सोहमस्मि, दैट इज मी। अष्टावक्र, I am that being in which Dvaitam appears. Very beautiful ji. Even his Sanskrit is very good. Yatra ajnanat bhati Dvaitam sohamasmi. I am indeed that in which the entire Dvaitam appears. Or I am indeed that in which my entire sense of Dvaitam. Dvaitam is sense of Dvaitam appears. Where I think divisions, where I perceive divisions, where I imagine divisions, or where I feel divisions, where I see divisions, that's me. That means I am seeing divisions within myself. Just because there is a sense of division, me and the tree, it looks as though it is there in space. But the space itself is in our being. Like a dream space also is dreamt in our being. But inside the dream, if you ask a person, where do you see the objects? He will say in the space there. Yes, objects are in space, but the space along with the objects is dreamt in one's being. You say, Swamiji, there is a distance between object and me. There is a distance between that object and this object. But between the seer and the object, there is no distance. Very big point, Ji. There is no distance between the seer and the seen. One can't say really. Like between the earth and space, what is the distance, Ji? Between the wave and water, what is the distance? Between the table and the wood, what is the distance? If there is no distance, that means it's oneness. Therefore, the division is a notion. So, between space and the seer of the space, there is no spatial distance. Between the seer of the space and the space, there is no spatial distance. Therefore, between consciousness and matter, there is no distance. Because matter is one with consciousness. Thought is one with the thinker. And the thinkerness also is one with consciousness. That way, thought is one with consciousness. That thinker-thought relationship is one with consciousness. If everything is one with consciousness, then consciousness alone is, that is called Advaitam. Therefore, by nature, consciousness is Advaitam. By nature, consciousness is Advaitam. Whereas, due to ignorance, one sees Dvaitam, relationship. Me and this, that is called relation. Me. If you say object and object, Don't relate object with object. All relationships are between the subject and the object. Me and my children, me and my wife, me and my business, me and the universe, in simple G. Me and this. And when I think in terms of Dvaitam between me and the rest, that sense of division creates a sense of limitation. Don't say sense of limitation creates a sense of division. No. There is no, they are all one and the same. Sense of division implies a sense of limitation. Sense of division implies a sense of limitation. What did I say? Sense of division implies a sense of limitation. Don't create a cause and effect relationship between the two. Reason result relation. Limitation के कारण से द्वैत आ गया, द्वैत के कारण से limitation आ गया. Don't create. This is called splitting hair. Pulling hair is all right, but splitting hair wastes a lot of time. You see? Splitting hair. Swamis have mundan, do you know why? Because they don't split hair. They just straight away go into Shastram and think of the truth. You don't split hair, gee. Ajnanat bhati yatra idam sohamasmi niranjanaha. And the Advaitam is niranjanaha, is free from taint. Anjana means, kajal, you put some black paint on your eyes. Already we are kalas. On the kala you put little more kala. उससे कोई नहीं. It is a kind of, it is so difficult to remove it also. That's why it's called Anjana. Anjana means, anything that sticks. Anything that sticks, adhesive, a gum, a glue. What can get glued is called Anjana. In fact, every attribute is Anjana. And the oneness doesn't have any detail in it. To be doesn't have any details in it. To be. If you say, no, it has many details. Every detail should be to be only. And to be is not a thought. Thought can have many facets. But freedom from thought cannot have many facets. Silence cannot have many facets. Silence is silence. You can't say silence has hands, feet, head. Silence has a height and weight. What is the weight of silence, Ji? What is the height of silence? Our usual thinking collapses in the face of the truth. Please understand. Our usual thinking simply helplessly collapses. This is what is meant by the Shastra when it says, Yato vacho nivartante, aprapya manasasaha. Our usual thinking, thought and the word collapse in the face of the truth. Our existence is so glorious, Ji. Don't judge yourself by your material achievements and all that. Nothing. Don't judge yourself. Don't judge yourself by your handicaps. Supposing you have some handicaps. financial handicap. Is nothing. These handicaps are karma phalamji. Thoda sa. It's not a part of you. Some karma creates a result. So what? That need not influence, that need not affect your judgment about yourself. Because Vedanta says, whatever you may be lame, blind, deaf, this and that, yet you are the limitation-free being. You are a silent, time-free being in which everything appears. The source of thought is free from the flaws of thought. The source of thought is free from the flaws of thought. And all the flaws we can only think in terms of only thoughts, ji. The source of emotions is free from all the flaws of emotions. How can the source be free? Because here the source is Mayika source. The relationship between the source of thought and the thought is like the rope and snake. The source is like the rope. The thought is like the snake. The rope is not affected by the snake perception. Similarly, the source of thought is not affected by the flaws, impurities, limitations of thought. We are not a thought, nor are we a thinker of the thought, because even thinkerness is a thought. We are choicelessly present source. In my presence, in my being, thoughts appear and disappear. They look like as though thought by me. That phenomenon also is a notion. Thoughts appear, thoughts disappear, perceptions take place, perceptions disappear, like the waves appear and disappear in the ocean. It looks as though sometimes the ocean is thinking the thoughts, entertaining the waves. But the ocean is not entertaining the waves, it is, but in it, in oceanic waters, the waves rise and fall. Similarly, thoughts take place and thoughts subside. Even the idea that I am thinking them is also a thought. That also rises and subsides. Like in the deep sleep state, not only thoughts subside, but also the idea that I am a thinker of them also subsides. Just as a father transcends his children in the deep sleep state, he also transcends the idea that he is a father. Yes. When you transcend the children, you transcend your fatherhood also. Atra pita apita bhavati. The father is no longer a father in deep sleep. He is oneness. Atra veda aveda bhavanti. The Vedas, even Shabda Pramana, all the Pramanas have no access into oneness. They may talk about, the Veda may talk about oneness, but it has no access into oneness. The mind, as a thinker, I may talk about silence, but as a thinker, I have no access into silence. As a thinker, me, I have no access into me, the silence. I can't enter my silent identity along with my thinking. Even I have no entry into myself. What to talk of others? I cannot enter my peaceful identity along with my thoughts. And therefore, the usual thinking collapses in the face of the truth. That is the meaning of the word Niranjana. It is free from flaws. Truth is free from flaws. Flaws that man can ever think of. अगर कुछ नहीं मिलेंगे तो then man can invent one flaw. भगवान मेरे लिए पैसा नहीं देता है. Why is God so unkind to me? It's a newly invented, new-found stupidity. What is all this? Why should Bhagavan be so? You are not so important that Bhagavan thinks particularly about you. You are not so important to think about you. Karma is parallel. I am living in a state of realm of ignorance about my glory, and within that state of ignorance I keep doing karma, and within that state karma keeps on giving me a result, and sometimes my past gives me, I had a very not a very so good a past, and the not so good a past brings me not so good a present also. ये तो होता है. The play of karma is different. Ignorance is different. Fact is different. Karma only brings me the results as per my karma. There is no bias. Karma has no bias. The law of karma has no bias. I told you, the law of gravitation has no bias. Even Mukesh Ambani falls from the 7th floor. He cannot bribe the law of karma. Be kind to me. I will give you these many crores. ऐसा कुछ नहीं जी. God's laws in the face of God's laws, all jivas are equals. We are all the same. And therefore the laws cannot have bias. The law of karma cannot have bias. And therefore even the lawmaker Parameshwara has no bias. Therefore Bhagavan is flawless. God is truth, divinity is flawless. But Swamiji, then why there are so many evils in this society if God is flawless? I say society, these are social problems are all created by the jivas, individuals. The members of the society create evils. But that evil does not prove that the source is also evil. The source is flawless, even though the creation is, you may read a lot of flaws in it. Whatever man can create, there are flaws. But in God's creation, there are no flaws. In God's creation, there are no flaws in the sense it is ever one with God. That is its flawlessness. The creation's flawlessness is in the form of its choiceless non-separateness from its source. Like the flawlessness of the wave is that it is one with water. And the flawlessness of the water is that it is not affected by the temporariness of the wave. Like this, there are so many things which you can't follow. This much you can understand. The source is taintless. उस शब्द को पकड़ लेना बस. The source is taintless. Of what I talk, whatever you can capture, capture. If you can't capture every detail, if you can't really capture, then capture the important. ठीक है जी. अज्ञानाद् भाति यत्रेदं सोऽहमस्मि निरञ्जनः द्वैतमूलमहो दुःखम् नान्यत् तस्यास्ति भेषजम् Drishyametan mrisha sarvam Ekoham chidraso malaha Dvaita moolam aho dukkham. Dukkham is due to Dvaitam. Dukkham is not, see, we say I get dukkham due to hunger. Hunger creates dukkham. Thirst creates dukkham. Lack of this comfort creates dukkham. Lack of that comfort creates dukkham. We understand these things. We always trace dukkham to lack of an amenity. We always ascribe discomfort to lack of comfort. I am uncomfortable because these comforts are not there. But here, when you think deeply, discomfort is not due to lack of any object. Yeah, that is also there, but fundamentally, the discomfort is due to the sense of division. Dvaita moolam aho dukkham. Dukkham has its origin in Dvaitam. But it looks as though lack of things makes me uncomfortable. Lack of what I want. I don't fulfill my desire, therefore I am unhappy. I am sick, therefore I am unhappy, I am uncomfortable. In this manner, we always ascribe our unhappiness, our discomfort to material things, presence or absence of material things. But fundamentally, the discomfort is due to the sense of division. Why? Because the sense of division means sense of limitation. As a limited person, I am uncomfortable. Because the unlimited, thinking that it is limited, makes it uncomfortable. My own conclusion about myself as limited makes me uncomfortable. So the discomfort is the result of Dvaitam. So the fundamental reason is Dvaitam. The topical reason is what man can understand. What man sees as the reason for unhappiness is lack of this, lack of that. Yeah, that's true. We think, ye to hai. If man doesn't have food, he is unhappy. If he is not rich, he is unhappy. If he has no medicines, he is unhappy. If he is alone, if he is lonely, he is unhappy. We always ascribe dukkham, unhappiness, to either presence of something or absence of something. Dukkham is always commented upon as empirical. Dukkham is always universally commented upon as empirical. Shastra says dukkham is the result of some spiritual reason, ignorance about the truth. Hey Bhagavan, dukkham is dvaita moolam. Dukkham is due to self-felt limitation, sense of limitation about one's being, not the sense of limitation about his wealth, not the sense of limitation about his form. Dukkham is not that, it is a sense of limitation about one's being. I am this form creates, that is what is called, because the form is limited. It has a spatial size. When the form has a spatial size, and if I take myself to be that form, then I feel a sense of limitation. And by nature, I am unlimited. So when the unlimited judges itself as limited, So there is a friction between what I think and what I am. Between my thinking and my nature there is a friction. That discrepancy between my thinking and my nature is what is called the fundamental discomfort. And once that fundamental discomfort is there, no comfort can negate it. No physical comfort. No wealth can negate that fundamental discomfort. That friction-born discomfort cannot be negated by any achievement. No wealth can negate it. No pleasure can negate it. No empire can negate it. No material achievement can negate it. No, even if you are given 1,000 years of age, it cannot negate it, because material things cannot, sense indulgence cannot negate an inner notion. Inner notion. And what is the notion? I am limited. That is called Dvaitam. I am limited. I have already told you, Dvaitam and the sense of limitation are one and the same, imply each other. Sense of limitation and the sense of division, what do they do? Imply each other. You have to hear. Sense of division and sense of limitation, sense of embodiment, it's all the same thing. Imply each other. And between the sense of limitation and the nature there is a discrepancy. And the discrepancy, how much is the discrepancy? Not marginal. By nature one is unlimited. By notion he is limited. Is it a marginal discrepancy? Our usual thinking collapses even in the face of the problem, in understanding the problem. In understanding the problem also, it's not easy. Our problem is the discrepancy between the nature and thinking. What I am and what I think about myself. And therefore, Dvaitamoolamaho dukkham nanyat tasyasti bheshajam. And in life, dukkham has no medicine. No medicine, no achievement, no pleasure, no medicine can cure the basic discomfort born of the sense of limitation. The fundamental discomfort cannot be treated by any medicine, by any pleasure, by any achievement. This is the reason why human beings write philosophies and poetries and whatnot, saying that pain is a part of life. Why? Because when it can't negate it, then it's a part of life. Who has ever transcended pain? All this poetry they write because pain cannot be negated. If Dvaitam is the reason for pain and every pleasure is within Dvaitam cannot negate it. Because pain is born of Dvaitam and the same Dvaitam cannot negate it. The same darkness cannot negate darkness. Light can negate darkness. Darkness cannot negate darkness. Dvaitam only creates, Dvaitam causes, limitation causes discomfort. And every pleasure is limited, and therefore limitation is not negated by the limited. Or limitation cannot be negated by the limitation. Therefore, Even after thousands of years, human beings will be fighting with unhappiness. They come up with new terminology. And the terminology is stress and strain, and later on this is stress. It is nothing but an inner discomfort. Whether you have a comfortable life or uncomfortable life, definitely there is pain, unhappiness of some kind or the other. Even if you are born with a silver spoon in your mouth, I am telling you, the discomfort of the inner discomfort of limitation is always felt. If you have got so many comforts, I tell you, you will feel, you start crying. Sheer boredom of comforts will make you unhappy. Yes. If all is well, you will have a problem of boredom, for which a new word will come in future. Yes, a word will come. He is suffering from boredom born something, monotony. Because nothing, everything is there. You ask for it, it is there. Within your hand's reach, every comfort is there. Then you become a vegetable. He has got a vegetabilizing himself problem. He has got a vegetable problem. Therefore, pain is there. As long as the basic discomfort is there, basic sense of limitation is there, the limited will always be uncomfortable no matter what he enjoys. What he owns may be big, but the one who owns lives with a sense of limitation. So even if the whole heaven is given to you, you are still, heaven is great, but as the owner of the heaven, you have a sense of limitation. Even if the whole heaven becomes a part of you, I am telling you, you are still limited, because heaven also has a limitation. So, very problem is gambhir hai. But we have to rise to the occasion to understand human problem, Jiva's problem. An animal just lives and dies. It can't think. Therefore, it can't understand the problem. There is no effort to solve it. It only has to survive and die. But a human being can understand the problem. He reacts against the pain. He thinks about the pain, etc. Dvaitamoola dukkam nanyat tasyasti bheshajam Drishyametan mrisha sarvam. Drishyametan sarvam. All this is that is seen, felt, thought, heard, perceived, heard. That it is seen, heard, tasted, touched, smelt realm. This perceived realm, this objectified realm. Etad mrisha. It is mithya. It's false. I don't say you are not seeing it. You are seeing it. But what you are seeing it is mithya. Because you are seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling, everything, the entire creation you are perceiving within your being. Even embodiment is felt in one's being. And the embodiment implies creation, the universe, and that is also felt in one's, like the whole dream is perceived in one's being. It's not perceived outside your being. It's perceived in one's being. It's perceived in one's being. Just as the reflection in the mirror, your own reflection in the mirror is not separate from you, is not outside you, it is one with you. Similarly, the universe is not outside me, My reflection cannot be outside me. Minus me, there is no, my reflection is not there. It's not that my reflection is a parallel reality. It's not a reality parallel to me. My reflection is one with me. Reflection is one with the image. Drishyametan mrisha sarvam ekoham, and the image is one without a second. The creation is manifold, but the source is one. Chidrasaha, dripping with consciousness, meaning it is solely a conscious being. Solely conscious being. Slowly understand your conscious identity. Sometimes close your eyes, say perception is gone, but conscious identity is there. Thus, discern between even sense perception and conscious identity. Sound goes, but your conscious identity is there. This is all a part of reflection, Ji. When there is thought, you are conscious of it, aware of it. When it is not there, also silently. When you are silent, also you are conscious of it. You are conscious. And even in the deep sleep state, when there is no thought also, that state also, that freedom from thought also, you are experiencing. In this manner, get hold of your conscious identity. Slowly understand your conscious. Our physiological identity is not our identity, please. Our anatomical identity, it is not our identity. This is an anatomical upadhi. Anatomy is a shell around me. It is a wrapping as though it is upadhi. It's a kind of a incidental look. I can't transcend my conscious identity, but I can transcend my physical identity. Thus, get hold of reflection should make you understand your unnegatable conscious identity. Not only understand your conscious identity, also understand you can't transcend it. You can transcend everything and still be conscious. Your experiencing identity, your experiencer identity, or your experience identity cannot be negated, cannot be transcended, because that's your nature. Like fire cannot transcend heat, water cannot transcend its sapidity, the table cannot transcend wood. Similarly, we cannot transcend our conscious identity, which is our nature. Clear, Ji? This Chidras Amala, free from impurity. We are not all, it's not that consciousness is one of the details. We have a soul identity. You have to understand soul, S-O-L-E. Soul identity means एक ही स्वरूप है हमारा, to be and be conscious. If we look at yourself as a form, then it is made of many details. We are eka rasa. Eka rasa means, we have a soul essence, soul nature. To be conscious is our soul nature. Like in a salt crystal, what is there, Ji? Only salt. Wherever you taste it is salt, 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 salt. Saline, 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 etc. In the same manner, here also, whether you see or hear or taste or touch or smell or you transcend all of them, your conscious identity is there. Even willing, remembering is not a part of conscious identity. Because you can transcend memory and still be conscious. Memory is a creation, volition is a creation, to be is not a creation. छिद्रसः अमलः 10 बज गया जी. We will see the next verse later on. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.